What's going on, everyone? Welcome into episode 15 of Connected by Seams podcast. Once again, Seth Smith alongside my big brother, Garrett Smith, and 8-year MLB vet, Danny Espinoza. Here we are, fellas, another week, another episode, and a super cool one at that as we caught up with Vice President of Marketing and the company's first ever employee at Ethika, Danny Evans. Super awesome conversation. Really down-to-earth guy. Had a good time getting to know him. Danny, thank you for setting that up. And I know you guys are workout buddies, but I'm glad we can all share that connection now with Danny. So before we get into all that, NBA playoffs, things are getting juicy, guys. My odds looking great. Just
because basketball sucks.
I love it. I'm down. I have Denver and Houston. Both those series 1-1 with the Lakers and Clippers. No one has anyone in the East because Danny got swept out. Really represented well there. But that's the update on the NBA playoffs. Seth still has no idea what he's going to decide.
I was just going to say, what do you have in mind?
I don't know. We should set it. We should have to come up with it before, like, our teams are winners or not. You know what I mean? Like, we should come up with.
Seth, you and I will organize that since Danny's.
Danny's fired up about this. I know that.
He's
for
real
sure.
fired up.
Yeah.
We're gonna have another bet, and I'll win. Eventually.
It'll come full circle.
We'll have Borat swimsuits.
Eventually, the Borat swimsuit will be on. Yeah.
And it'll probably be at the time that we're all live in the same studio. And
who knows? Maybe it'll be an Ethika one. Maybe we can get hooked up. We'll see what they have.
Ooh, they probably got some good female underwear we could get into.
Yeah, now we're talking, huh?
That's what I'm talking about.
There we go. Well, shoot, that's the update on the NBA. Hey, speaking of weird, let's head right in to the highs and lows. I know you guys are fired up about this one. A little long weekend. At that, I hope everyone had a safe and good Labor Day weekend. I know us three did, and on that note, why don't we talk about it? Who wants to go first? I know you guys are chomping at the bit.
Well, I can go.
I think Danny's up. Yeah.
So we take our little puppy in to get fixed. Get his taters cut off, and we take him in, and they call us. Hey, gave him the wrong medicine. Well, we just took you a fully healthy puppy, right?
No way.
Fully healthy puppy. Gave him the wrong sedative to put him, to go into surgery, and his heart rate went from 110 to 50. So they gave him the wrong sedative. They had the blood work on him. They knew that he had it was something genetic that he has in that breed that they can't take a certain sedative or something like that. So they knew it, but they administered it anyways and didn't check on it until after his heart rate went down. So they had to reverse him out of it. They call us in a panic. We had to take him from there to another animal hospital, keep him overnight.
Is he okay?
He's fine now, but his heart rate went down to 50. I was about to kill him. I was about to kill him. My wife was about to kill him because we're talking to them. And they're telling us, we did this wrong. They admitted fault, and now that they admitted fault, they're paying for all the bills and everything. I was pissed. But what pissed me off worse was that they go out and say, we're going to use this. Meanwhile, we haven't gotten our dog to the hospital or to a separate hospital. They're like, we're going to use this as a learning experience. I'm like, you're going to use my dog as a learning experience, huh? That's how you're going to treat this?
You want to put him on blast? Who is this?
Not going to put him on. I would love to.
It sounds funny, but it's fucking funny.
Though, but yeah,
on Tustin where the PetSmart is?
Yes.
I
already know where yeah.
You know what the name is? Inside the PetSmart, the doctors that you run your insurance through and everything. I'll get it for my wife. But yeah, I'll put him on blast. I have no problem putting on blast. But yeah, they almost killed our puppy, and that was
holy
good.
Cow. Which one?
Yeah. The puppy, the new one, the Remington.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy
I was about to kill him.
Yeah.
So
Dude, that's not okay.
What the?
No.
Why are the lows including these poor?
Well, especially when you had the paperwork there, and you knew that you couldn't have that. It was just laziness.
It's avoidable. Yeah.
Laziness.
Meanwhile,
yeah, there you go.
We get loose.
There you go.
Hey, well, turn the page. What were some of the highs? I think something got better than that, right?
So high. Go on a mountain bike ride yesterday. Get out of the trails. I'm on Taft. Turning up, about to go up some road. Just going to do about a 4-mile road run just to finish my ride. Can I start going uphill? Boom, nailing the tire through the tread, out the sidewalk. I'm a mother.
Oh, I got you good.
Bro, taught me good. Oh yeah. So I'm like, I'm about to walk home now.
Wait, this is your high?
No. So the high part of it is that I
We're
called
getting there.
Sarah. Sarah was gone. She had taken the kids to romp around like the jumping place.
It looks so fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wish they had that when we were kids.
Yeah.
No
And
kidding.
the high was, I was like, God, I don't think she's home yet. But I called her. She's like, oh, no, I just pulled up the house. I was like, oh, I'm down the street. Come pick me up. Like,
saving grace.
Save my life. I'd have to walk home with my bike right now.
Oh, that would
Holy
be
cow.
so brutal.
On the brand new one?
Yeah, just a random nail, bro. I was coming off of
No, on the brand new bike?
Yeah, Taft. You know where Taft and Cannon run into each other?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, you would have to go down the.
Yeah, you would have been.
Where the hill?
No, I was going onto Taft, though. I was coming to the trail right there off of Cannon. Right before I get to the reservoir. And I was going down Taft, and as I hit the sidewalk, pop! Right. I was like,
yikes. Yeah, that's brutal.
Shout out to Post Malone and Bud Light. Holla!
Look at that. That'll always help. That'll feel better.
Did you listen to that, Rogan?
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
That actually was good. He crushed 5 Bud Lights in the
I think
time
he
was
did
there.
a little bit more than that.
Well, other stuff was involved.
I think he did 5 cases and about 5 packs of cigarettes.
Yeah, he was getting after it. And he said he was on like 3 hours of sleep or something like that too. It's awesome.
And I found out he's only 25. That dude has he's got some miles on that freaking tread.
Dude,
there.
that's such a rough life though. Holy cow.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't imagine. Be fun.
I don't feel bad.
Yeah, no. Yeah, go ahead,
right.
G.
Go, G.
No, I was gonna spin it to Seth.
Seth,
go.
All right. Wow. Curveball. Fun weekend. I had an extended weekend. Actually went surprised the parents in Orange County. G, I don't want to spoil your highs and lows. I don't know what you're going to get into here, but you were gone.
I was gone.
For the people that maybe don't know, you have fostered a bunny from me. I had pre-moving to Pennsylvania. You guys took him in and have taken great care of him. You guys were gone, and I was like, you know what? I think it's necessary for me to get my booty up there and take care of the bunny. So helped out for a little bit, but in the meantime, got to go to dinner with my dad and Darcy, and then saw my parents and stuff too. They have this whole street fair set up. If anyone's familiar with the Orange International Street Fair, full Polynesian setup theme. It was a good time. So did that this weekend. Went out in the Mission Bay actually too. That was fun. Took a dinghy around, hung out. So many people out.
Took your dinghy out?
Yeah, I took my dinghy out. It was a good time. You know, when the dinghy's coming out, you're going to have a good time for sure. But that was fun. And then the lows. AC went out at work. We didn't get AC back inside the restaurant till 2:30. When it came on, I don't even want to say the numbers that it was at because I don't want to shut us down. I don't know what's legal and not legal, but it was ridiculously hot. And just the heat in general.
What's considered a sweatshop and what's not? Exactly.
I'm not gonna, I can't shame everyone. And then unfortunately, there's like crazy fires going on here in San Diego too, Alpine and stuff like that.
All over here
really,
too.
really bad. So that's been kind of a bummer. With you see the ash, and with that, it's you think about. Obviously, someone went through some shit for that, so that sucks. But that's basically it. It was another good week, extended weekend, and made the most of it. So, how about you, G?
As you mentioned, I was gone. We took
Didn't want to spoil it.
Yeah, we took the 3 dogs up to Big Bear. Our uncle has a little cabin. When I say little, it's little.
Shoebox.
But it's
So
it's
cool.
so rad. It's so cool. It's super old school. And with the 3 dogs, I built this little temp enclosure outside so that they could actually enjoy the wild a little
You
bit.
didn't send me the picture, but I was
shoebox.
with Dad when I saw it. Dude, that thing's sweet, and you can just
great.
collapse it, and yeah.
And but no, it was fun being up there. Just going to the lake. We did a couple. Well, I told Rach they're just trail walks, but they were hikes. And she was not having it, but
Nice.
that was all right. The dogs loved it. They were so exhausted. Dude, so many freaking people up there.
Really?
So many. Oh, it was packed. But it was also so hot.
Yeah.
It's usually like we've been up there in summer. It's touching 90 maybe, but dude, it was upper 90s and even 100 at some points. And at night, even during the summer, it usually cools down quite low, and it's stuck at like 70.
Wow.
And no airflow.
That was dry.
Yeah, but despite all that, it was just fun to get away. Dude, 2 hours away. It's not that far. It was fun. The downer to it all, though, was Saturday. We were at the lake walking around it, and it was like, when did this become a volcano? It looked like over the ridge, and you saw that fire, the Ukaipa fire.
Wow.
And dude, it was gnarly looking. And I took pictures and I have some videos, but they don't do it justice. It was cool, or cool to see, but not cool to know that shit is right at the base of the mountain. Yeah. And I looked it up, and it was literally like right at the base of the 38 where it connects. And so the downer on top of the fire was we had to go the front side, which is super windy on the way down the mountain. For those of you that are probably anybody that's gone to Big Bear probably primarily uses that way. And when you have 3 dogs in the back of your truck that, they don't know what's going on.
Car's thick as fuck.
Dude, it was miserable to for me to watch them trying to hold themselves up, and oh dude, I felt so bad. But yeah,
who's the best of them in the car?
Honestly, Tilly, because I think
she's the derpiest one though.
No, I know, but I think it's because she doesn't know what the hell's going on, so she just freaking tucks in the back seat and just like I don't want to look up. Yeah. Bolly she's gradually got to the point where she's full head out the window. I'm on a road trip. And then Lucy is I'll send you guys some pictures. Lucy drools like freaking no other when she's in the car. Nowhere else. But in the car, all of a sudden it's like St. Bernard everywhere.
That is awesome.
And the side of my truck, it looks hilarious.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, my weekend was good. It was a good way to I guess close out summer.
Yeah. One last hoorah. Hey, shit's getting real though. Everyone's back at school and doing all that too. So you're right. Summer comes to an end, and that's not a bad way though. Like you said, 2 hours. We did that not too long ago. That, like I said, going to the river was like 3 hours and some change. It's like just close enough, far enough. So no, that's rad. Sweet. Well, without further ado, as mentioned, we talked to Danny Evans of Ethika. Huge in the industry, and so many cool stories that he shared with us, and just a cool story of how he got started. Again, the company's very first employee basically begged for a job, and now he has stuck around and been through it all with Ethika. So we'll send it to the interview now. What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Connected by Seams podcast. Looking forward to today's conversation as we are joined by Vice President of Marketing at Ethika and Ethika's very first employee, Danny Evans. This is awesome, man. Thanks for joining us. How are you, Danny?
I'm good, man. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, that might be a bold statement, but I read it. It was in print. Is that true? You are the company's very first employee at Ethika?
Yeah, that's true. It goes all the way back to 2009. So I was a little punk kid in school and just kind of started showing up to the founder's house one day, and never left. Kind of just kept showing up until he was forced to hire me.
Persistence. It paid off. Boy, it sure paid off. We look forward to diving into all that. But before we get there, a couple of Long Beach State guys in the house, you and Danny. I think just today you guys figured that out, that you both went to Long Beach State, Danny playing baseball, you go in the marketing direction. If you want to maybe just talk about your experience at Long Beach, what you studied, and what kind of you got into during your college days.
Yeah, Danny was a dirtbag. I was a 49er. But yeah, man, Long Beach State. I had kind of grown up around this action sports world of skateboarding, snowboarding, BMX, and I did have direction within myself from a young age of, hey, I want to work with athletes. So I went to Long Beach State. I grew up in San Pedro, California, so that was kind of like the local university, 15 minutes from home. Majored in marketing. Looking back, I didn't really get a lot out of college, and I think I didn't really use it the right way. Like at the time, when you're 18 to 22, you're kind of thinking like, how can I get this done? How can I, pass my classes and just get this over with, because it's a bit of a chore. And now I'm older with a more mature outlook. I wish I kind of would have had the intention of getting more out of my classes. It probably would have came in a lot more helpful down the line, but. I finished. I definitely learned a few things in the marketing classes. But when I was the halfway through my sophomore year, and I had kind of already had like 6 years of quote working experience up until that point. Like I worked at like this water sports shop, starting when I was really 14 years old, selling like water skis and wakeboards and stuff like that. And then I got into shooting for photos when I was about 18. And also kind of hosting, doing some MC stuff at like local events, whether they were skateboarding or wakeboarding and that type of stuff. So when I got into college sophomore year, I heard about this guy named Malcolm McCaskey who was going to start this underwear company with Travis Pastrana and a skateboarder named Ryan Scheckler, who were pretty much like in the action sports world. Those were like the kings at that time. Like they were the household names. So I reached out to him on MySpace at the time. That was the social network.
Solid.
Yeah.
Popping. And linked up with him. So basically where that story comes full circle is I was getting so much more marketing, like kind of life experience outside of school. So, that's where really all my valuable knowledge came from. School was kind of a secondary focus for me.
Well, it's tough at Long Beach too, because, that's a true commuter school. It's not, you don't get the real college experience as far as going to the football games, going to the, all the sports. It's a commuter school. You go there and there's 50,000 kids that go to that school and you see them on campus and that's it.
Yeah, nobody goes to football games because they haven't had a football team.
I was just going to say, is there even a football team?
No.
But no. And I had a tight group of friends that I grew up with that we all stayed close through high school and stuff. And most of them ended up going to either Fullerton or San Diego State. So really on the weekends, it was like, oh man, like I'm just going to go to hang out at Fullerton or San Diego State. Right. So there was like, dude, I think I went to like 1 or 2 Long Beach State basketball games and like maybe one party in 4.5 years. So yeah, I wasn't really that plugged in.
Long Beach pride right there.
Yeah.
You didn't go to like house parties and stuff really at Long Beach because you had 2nd Street right there. You had downtown Long Beach, and that's kind of what you did. It was just a totally different experience going to Long Beach. I mean, I loved it. I loved the campus. Love that school, but I mean, that's just it's you don't get tied up in the college experience there. It's a totally different experience.
It's not like the movies at that.
And I don't regret it. I mean, there's only so many hours in the day, and I was like, I don't want to say I was working hard because I wasn't doing manual labor working hard, but I was super focused. So it's like I'd get out of class and then I'd go find some skateboarder to shoot photos with and go home and like be on the computer. I was making the most out of my day. So it was just a different way to be productive than I guess your typical college experience.
Yeah. A lot of stuff showed photography, or that you were into photography. You do freelance stuff, things like that. Was that something you developed as you got older? As you were a kid, you were always snapping pics, or?
So it was kind of I got into the photography because I think, well, one, because I was super into skateboarding and motocross and that stuff, but I wasn't that good at it. So it allowed me a way to be part of the sports and spend time with the athletes, without actually being the athlete. So that was one thing that made it cool. It was a creative outlet for me, but also as I grew up, I realized that it became an incredibly valuable tool to get my foot in the door places, especially fast forward a few years when we started working with music artists. It's like, if they're, these up and coming artists, no matter what genre they're in, like they don't have a ton of money. So if you're a kid that's hanging out with them and shooting photos for them for free and giving them photos, like that's really valuable to them. So you kind of constantly give the invite to come to their studio sessions or their shows or whatever it is, as opposed to being a kid trying to like network with artists and not really bringing anything to the table. It's like, dude, who is this guy? Like, why is there another dude in the studio session right now? Like, get him out of here,
Wow.
So photography really, it allowed me to make money, some side money when we were starting Ethika, and I wasn't really making any money. So it was definitely served its purpose on that front, but then it also was a phenomenal networking tool for me to just have a reason to be, backstage at a concert or get a media pass to X Games or whatever the scenario was. But super valuable.
It's cool because like your photos, like I see the stuff that you do from the extreme sports to like the stuff you showed me like on Wednesday at the gym, where it was like I thought you were hanging out with the game in Compton.
Yeah,
like, two extremes, from like being on the dirt to being like in Compton doing the stuff that you're doing. It's like you have such a broad spectrum in your photos.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And it definitely came over years. Photography is funny because you think that you'll get excited and be like about shooting a photo, like, man, this is a good photo. And then if you shoot photos for another couple years and you get better, you look back on the photos and you're like, dude, I sucked. Those photos are horrible. But yeah, it's fun.
Is there a particular style or anything you like to shoot in particular?
It's just stuff that I'm passionate about. So yeah, it was always, skateboarding and the action sports and motocross, and now hip hop and music concerts and stuff like that. Like I could never ever see myself, shooting a wedding. That type of stuff just becomes, that's probably the most profitable form of photography. Those guys make a lot of money, but for me, that would turn it into a job. And that's never really what it was. It was a way for me to connect with the stuff I was passionate about.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's always cool when you go to like a concert or something and you see them all up on stage and the photographers bouncing around and taking video, and it's pretty sweet. And then you see it afterwards and it's like, wow, that came out.
Yeah, it's crazy to see how that kind of, even though as a profession, I got lucky where it was never something that I relied upon to really pay the bills, but it's a little bit unfortunate with how far the iPhone has come, because that as a profession has really kind of fallen off, like what you're able to do now. I've literally done photo shoots for Ethika, where I'll shoot a photo of something on my DSLR camera and then take the same photo on an iPhone, and we've literally ran the iPhone photo because it just looks better than the
that is wild.
That's crazy.
That's
but
insane.
You talk about like how your photography has gotten you into the stuff that you're passionate about, being from the extreme sports to the music. I think it's cool, and we're going to talk about it. The people that you've met, the stars, the artists, everything that you've been able to get into because of your photography, has gotten you kind of there.
Yeah, I think photography's got me there, but also Ethika just is a very unique brand that we've built, and a lot of it just happened organically. It wasn't necessarily the game plan from the start, but in pre-2009, there was nothing cool about men's underwear. So, credit to Malcolm, our founder, like he saw that opportunity to go into that space. So once, it was a lot of hard work and years and stuff that went into making it cool. But once we kind of got over that hump and made something cool, we weren't pigeonholed to we were never like, oh, that's the skateboarding brand. It kind of expanded from the action sports into music and then into NBA. So me being in the marketing role that I'm in, it's never gotten, a dull or stale or whatever, because I get to kind of bounce back and forth between so many different worlds where Ethika has relevancy. So be able to transition from motocross to hip hop music to in the NBA and all that has made it really fun and really fresh. And yeah, I guess that's kind of the main thing that's been able to be responsible for the wide network of people that I've met over the years.
Well, let's even go back even further, you mentioned MySpace being your way of reaching out to Malcolm. I made a note of that. That's basically how you met him, or you invited him to a birthday party or something, that you guys were able to meet. But why was it underwear? Like you said, that wasn't like a hot thing being talked about back then. Why did you guys see that kind of space and outlet to expose there?
I mean, it definitely wasn't you guys. I can't take credit for that. That was all Malcolm. Like he was, had that vision and saw that opportunity back then. He was older than I am. He had much more working experience in our world where, I think not to try to speak for him on something, but from my understanding, it was like he saw the opportunity where athletes have endorsements for everything, especially in like the action sports, like mainstream worlds, the big three and stuff, it's a little more controlled. Companies like Nike and stuff, they'll do head to toe deals. So athletes don't really have as much freedom. But in skateboarding, you'll look at someone and he'll have a clothing sponsor, a shoe sponsor, a sunglass sponsor, a watch sponsor, like really a different endorsement for every piece of equipment or apparel that they wear. And underwear was like the one thing that no one had like tapped into yet. So there was a white space there. To not only make something cool with the athletes, but also to make just a better product. Like stuff was terrible back then. Like I grew up buying a 5-pack of Hanes at Target for $15 or whatever it was, and I think most people kind of did. So there was an opportunity to make something cool and also just make it a much better quality product that fit the athletes. And we came out with a fit that we still have today, which we call the staple, and it's a longer fit. And now the longer fit has kind of become more the norm. But in 2009, people thought we were crazy. Nobody had anything that long in 2009. And when we originally sampled it and Malcolm gave it to the Travis Pastranas of the world and the Shecklers and stuff, and we had all this great feedback, the guys were like, yeah, this is the fit that you need to go with. Like this just fits way better than anything else out there. So that's what we launched. Everybody thought it was a compression short and performance specific at the time, when it was really just a cotton brief, but the fit was dialed.
Well, take us through that journey a little bit. I think you guys started in a garage in Irvine, California, had just like 4 cabinets or something, if I read correctly, of just underwear, and now you have grown to where you guys are now. Maybe just
you've done your homework.
I have. Yeah. No, it was awesome, dude. Like, I don't know. I just was stumbling upon more and more, and 4 cabinets. It started with just 5 solid colors, and now you guys have patterns that are crazy. You know what I mean?
So there was a period that maybe took a little longer than it should have to really kind of get the brand up and going, because we didn't have any capital at first. So it was a very like grassroots thing where we're just giving product out to our friends and this and that. From 2009 to 2012, really, we were out of Malcolm's garage, and towards the end of that, we got into a store, Zoomies, and we did a test with them. That was like, hey, we'll put you in 25 doors and we'll test this product. We also had some really cool stuff happening when we were still out of the garage. Like, one of my close friends, a guy named Ryan Good, worked with Justin Bieber. And so I would give Ryan like 10 or 15 pairs to give to Justin, which at the time was a lot of pairs. Like, we have no inventory, we don't have money, whatever. And he would give it to Justin. Justin would love it, and then Justin would go to our website and buy 50 pairs. So we're seeing like that type of stuff where it's like, it just reinforced like, okay, there's like some potential here, and the product's really good, because someone like that doesn't go and buy more of the product unless he genuinely kind of likes it,
Right.
And then in 2012, that was a major turning point for the brand. From 2012 to like 14, Malcolm met a guy named Matt Cook, who he partnered up with in 2012, and Matt became our CEO, and also brought the first ever basically the first ever real investment money to the table, where we were able to then transition from making product domestically to making product overseas. And Matt's expertise, his operational expertise into how to scale a business really came into play, where it kind of went from Malcolm and myself and a few other people in some roles, where Matt came and gave the brand its first office, and was able to set a foundation for us to really be able to scale and put that blueprint into place. And from 2012 to 14, it was a very foundation level focus on the operation side. And then from 2015 to now is when it's really kind of just like started to take off, and even much more so in the last 18 months. It's been crazy. So, credit to both Malcolm and Matt. Malcolm's, vision from the jump was allowed us to be the first movers in the space, kind of the first to market, and then Matt's expertise in scaling and operations and all that has really allowed us to get to where we're at now.
I got a question on my side. So when you were jumping on board from the get-go and coming from the marketing mindset of things, and you and find out that it's underwear, what's going through your head of what's my strategy here from a photo shoot point of view, a marketing point of view? Because like you said, I mean, everything was the Hanes and the Fruit of the Looms and just the guy standing there with his crotch out, like what do you do to blow up the company and catch the eye? Like I'm just curious, like what was running through your mind on that?
Yeah, so when I first hit up Malcolm, to be honest, I didn't even know it was underwear. And because no one really, like, the company, it wasn't even launched yet. Like, there was like a website with the logo on it, and that was it. So I just wanted an opportunity to work with him and the people that were involved. Found out it was underwear. It was kind of funny because if you would have told me when I graduated high school I'd be working for a men's underwear company, I would have like that was very effective. But then when you think about it, and I did kind of have this mindset from the beginning, it's like, what an awesome product, because for both men and women, it's a product that you wear throughout your entire lifetime. It's a product that you need more than one pair of, and it's a product that you're consistently buying. So just the potential, piece of the pie that you can get is it's a massive pie, and it's a huge industry. So just that business model alone was intriguing to me. And then once you got into it, and it's like, okay, now we're doing this underwear thing. It was a very anti-underwear approach that we took, and we still stick to that to this day, where we would never ever take a photo of a guy with his shirt completely off, unless it was like a Sheckler or somebody at the time that has a bunch of tattoos where people are used to and comfortable seeing them with their shirt off.
Of course, yeah.
Right.
And we would just wait for like the glimpses of like a skater to grab his shirt and wipe sweat off, or you could see the band, but it was the marketing side was a very comfortable way of seeing that it was like men's underwear, and that's kind of what made it cool, so especially with the sports that we were in.
I agree.
So I didn't even think about the band's got to be like the most important part of the underwear, almost like something to grab the attention. Yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't even, until you just said, those guys so often are lifting up
today. Now that we're bigger and we've trained people to know that we're an underwear brand, like we've expanded our product lines to include everything, from socks to t-shirts and hoodies and all this cool high quality products. When we do our photo shoots now, we don't even feel the need to show the waistband. Like now I'm trying to sell you a vibe and an emotion and like a really cool feeling with the photograph. You already know that Ethika's, sells underwear. So I don't need to show you that anymore. So that's kind of the approach that we've taken, that you walk into our building here too, and it doesn't feel like you're in an underwear company. It's like, dude, I don't know, a music label or a clothing brand, whatever it is, but it's cool,
I'm about it.
I was gonna say like you guys' stuff, like your shirts and stuff, like the stuff that I've gotten from you guys, their socks, everything is so like athletically. I want to say it's like athletically loungy, comfortable. Yeah. Like it fits right, but it's comfortable just to chill in. The socks are very like almost kind of like that tight NBA athletic fit, to the feel. The shirts fit great. But talk about that office. I've been to your guys' building now a couple of times, and if I was ever gonna get a normal job, I'm gonna call and try to work there, because this is the coolest. I'm not even kidding, dude. This place is unbelievable. The most probably like worker-friendly space in the world. Like everything going on in it is sick. Like talk about that place. That place is unbelievable.
Yeah, man. Matt, had a vision when he moved in here, and it was to create somewhere that the athletes and the artists, and also the employees, but like you said, they want to be here. Like we want to create a facility where people want to spend time at. So everything was like pretty meticulously thought out. Like we have just an immense amount of imagery put up everywhere in this office. So you walk through and you can really just kind of get a grasp of like like no matter what, sports or music genre or whatever you're into, there's imagery in here that appeals to you. So you could be walking down the hall and see a 18-foot tall image of, a soccer superstar like Dani Alves, and then go around the corner and see a MotoGP guy like Valentino Rossi, and then a hip hop artist like Meek Mill, doing a wheelie on a dirt bike. Like all that stuff is just really in your face. And we just finished building a state-of-the-art music studio in the office. We started our own record label to kind of go on that.
That's legit.
This place is sick.
Yeah, new business. We've got a NBA regulation size half court with the NBA wood and the hoop and all that. So during COVID, with the lack of gyms available, that thing's been in use from like 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day by NBA players and college recruits trying to train. We've got a small gym area, and then just a bunch of lounges with TVs and pool tables and that type of stuff. So it's a fun place for me. It's our old office was cool, especially for where we were at as a brand, but we shared a building and we were on the third floor, and the first floor was like a doctor's office, and there was like a dentist office, and it was 5 minutes from my house, but I just didn't really want to be there. This is somewhere where I want to come and actually, it's fun to work and it's fun to spend time here and have that culture piece implemented with all the employees. The employees here are great. Everybody's comes from the kind of the same worlds, and yeah, it's awesome.
It's cool because like when you're in there, from what I've noticed a couple of times I've been in there, it's like you walk through, and usually when you walk through an office building or something, people are very to themselves. They don't say anything to you, but the environment you guys have created within your building, you walk through it, like everybody's like, hey, how you doing? What's up? Like very friendly. I've never been through an office building where everybody is that friendly, like willing to say like, how you doing? What's up? Like it's an unbelievable environment. You guys have created an unbelievable workspace.
Yeah, no cubicles. You'll walk through a department and we'll have a speaker blasting Nipsey Hussle at 10 a.m. Like it's very, very laid back, fun.
It sounds like my old job, actually. My old office was very much like that. And then, it got a little too far, and we had to tame it down a little bit. But I like that environment. That's awesome.
I mean, the expectations, Matt, our CEO now, does a good job from the top down of like setting those expectations of like, hey, the first goal is to make money. So you need to work hard so the brand can make money. And the second goal is to have fun. So it's like, hey, we need to keep everybody that high standard and make sure no one's, playing pool and darts for too many hours during the day.
Yeah, if you do it the right way, it can be successful for sure.
It kind of reminds me of a clubhouse, right? Like you have the stuff for the guys to relax and your employees 100%. To relax and enjoy it, but there's work being done 24/7, all the time, but you have the space, to give them individual room or whatever to move.
Yeah, 100%.
You guys have a kitchen and a chef or anything?
We have a chef. We've got a couple different kitchens, and we cater lunch for the employees, like every Wednesday, like once a week. So
sweet.
No chef. We haven't gone that far yet.
We had a chef, and that was like one of the best and worst ideas I think that our company had for a while, because it was breakfast and lunch, and everybody spent a couple hours for breakfast, a couple hours for lunch, but it kept you in the office. But dude, it was awesome having that.
Nice.
That's funny. Well, back to kind of the brand there, you being marketing expertise, needing to build those relationships with the athletes, with the musicians. I'm sure you've had a ton of experiences that have been really cool to be involved with. But just kind of marketing underwear, what have you found as far as like struggles, successes? Has anything really changed from when you guys started to now, as far as like what people want or what's in that kind of area?
Yeah. So there's a couple of different parts of those questions, but as far as challenges go, not so much right now. Like I said, the last 18 months, the brand's really hitting. But when we were going into retail stores, that was a big challenge because, Zumiez was the first ever retail store we went into, and that was followed by a chain called Tilly's. They've been great partners for us. Most recently, in the last few years, we've gone into like Foot Action, Foot Locker, stores like DTLR on the East Coast. And so the problem and the challenge that we ran into with that is when we go into almost all of those stores, they don't already sell any underwear. So it's not like we're going into a clothing store with a t-shirt. Like we have to essentially create the entire category and turn Foot Locker or Zoomies into a destination where people want to go to buy underwear. So that takes time. Like, that doesn't happen really quick. Like, especially back in when we're in like 2013, 14, 15, like those years. So the challenge is to really, be on the same page with our wholesale partners and understand and make sure we both have realistic expectations. Like, hey, this is a program we're going to build for you over the next 12 to 18 months. Like, you can't expect to see the sell-throughs you want to see in 30 days. Like, that's not going to happen because we're trying to bring an entire new category into your store. And once we do that, then it actually becomes awesome for the store because they get to add something entirely different. But that's been a big challenge in the past that we've had to kind of focus on. Like, we're on the flip side. When we went into Nordstrom, the brand kind of got off to a great start because they already have that destination. People already go into Nordstrom to buy men's underwear. So it was kind of more of a plug and play approach to that. It had a different set of challenges, but it was a little bit easier in that sense. And then as far as trends go, in 2009, we didn't really anticipate this like print craze that is driving. It drove the sock category for a while, and now it's kind of dominating the underwear category where, we had 5 solid colors, like you said, out of the garage, and now every season there's probably close to 100 different prints in our line per season, and that's what's selling. Like, the stores aren't selling. We do a fair amount of solids on our e-commerce site, but in wholesale, it's just driven by this print craze and new. Like, I want something new. I want to collect them. Like, you look at the hashtag Ethika collection on Instagram. There's kids that have over 100 pairs that are literally.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the kids, like my buddies that have kids that are like, 6, 7, 10, whatever. Like, they love them. That's all they wear. Their parents are, dude, we buy tons of these things. Like, this is all the kids will wear now. They don't wear anything but Ethika. I have multiple friends that have kids like, yeah. Well, the only underwear we buy for our kids is Ethika now.
Yeah. So yeah, that craze is kind of taken over, which is cool, for sure.
Yeah. Have there been any fun kind of collabs or anything to create these new patterns or kind of crazy patterns, anything like that you've maybe had a preference over?
We're doing them all the time. We've got, there's some fun stuff. I don't want to quite get into that, but there's some cool stuff happening. But in the past, we've done a lot of collaborations that have primarily been around underwear. Now we're trying to move into collaborations that can maybe be a little bit deeper. But if you look at like I'll give you a couple quick examples, but we've done some motorsports partnerships with like a company called FMF, Nitro Circus. Those are brands that every year, for the last 4 or 5 years, they have designs to come and launch. Valentino Rossi, the MotoGP rider, has a collection with us. We also have a big licensing deal in place with Fanatics for NBA and collegiate stuff. So we don't have all the colleges, but we have a ton of colleges, and then we have every NBA team. So those prints are doing awesome. Like, dude, like our Lakers, you can't make the Lakers pairs like fast enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, the collaborations are fun. That they serve more of like keeping that, giving the brand its cool factor for sure.
We put a pause there in the first half of the interview with VP of Marketing at Ethika, Danny Evans. Awesome, like we said, just super down to earth, really chill mentality about him. But nothing was chill about how he got started at Ethika, which I thought was really cool. Just the perseverance to continue to bug Malcolm and try and get himself involved and not really take no for an answer until he has now stuck it out and been the longest tenured employee at Ethika, which is awesome and pretty freaking rad that we get to talk to him here and get to know him. Danny, like I said and mentioned in the podcast, you two were working out just before this, so I don't know if you want to maybe just a little personal connection there between you and Danny or anything you guys want to touch on or whoever wants to start.
No, I'll go. Like you said, talk about a throwback, first of all, MySpace. Just get a little action out there.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could still log into my page and see what the hell's going on.
Check your wall.
Yeah,
Your
who are my top 8?
Oh, you were just pissing people off. Could you imagine?
Depending on who you were pissed off at and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Your
Oh, that was the
Exactly.
ultimate right there.
yeah.
But no, for him reaching out through MySpace and getting that, I mean, it again, like there's a lot of common themes with a lot of our guests, and they're very go-getter. You know, they have that go-get mentality, and he knew. Malcolm ahead of time knew he wanted to work with him or, you know, somebody of that stature, and he freaking, you know, pulled up his pants and freaking went after it. Like that, I think that's awesome. It's something that is common with a lot of successful people, and it was just cool to, you know, his idea of what he wanted to do, and he followed up on it and stuck it out. He didn't even know what the hell the product was, and just was like, "Yeah, let's go after it." So I thought that was pretty rad.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy talking with Danny. I talk to him all the time at the gym. Guy I didn't know until this year, and I remember the first time I came in, I was kind of, I didn't really know what to think. You know, big brand like that, and you know, not another athlete that was in there. Just had a great relationship with Joe and the owner of the gym, and ended up becoming friends. And after we became friends, brought me some gear to wear, and the stuff is unbelievable. And Danny and I have created a better and better relationship. And talk about like a genuinely nice person. The more and more time I've spent around him, just a very, very good person. Someone that honestly, when I go to the gym and I hang out and we work out, like we laugh the entire time. Like I enjoy.
I can see
every
that.
time. Yeah, every time I'm hanging out with him, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, him and I train together. We laugh, and like I really enjoyed talking with Danny. Very good person, but also gave you a great compliment, Seth. About, I mean, don't pat your mouth. Get that smile off your face. Wipe that shit off your face.
Dude, there's no smile. What's talking
No,
about?
that was almost worse. That was like a sly
I know,
little
I know.
smirk. Like, yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Oh, my face isn't red at all, dude. Get out of here.
No, but he gave you a compliment and said, unlike a lot of people, he said you did a lot of research and were able to pull a lot of stuff on even him, that he was kind of surprised that not that many people do that much background work. And, that's compliment to you, obviously, and you always do that for every single interview that we do. So he was very complimentary towards you. So look at that. Oh,
God.
Fucking fanboy over here.
Dude. I am. You kidding me?
But
First ever employee.
It is a great compliment to you, and it's true. You do a lot of background work on every single person we do, and he wanted me to basically let me let you know that.
Wow, hell yeah. Well, thank you. I did not know that. I didn't even slip him any dollars for that. But I did tell him I'll drop my drawers if I get hooked up with some undies. That's for sure.
That was later. That was
off the air. But no, that's awesome, because he was, over time that you've got to kind of build that relationship. Just letting us in the time that he allowed us was, you got to feel that and got to really kind of see his personality, and was just, you wouldn't think he was who he is. The way he carries himself is just awesome.
You can see that's also why he has the clientele that he works with,
for sure,
with the brand. Like it that carries over in so many different ways that I think a lot of people underestimate. Is that the word?
We'll roll with that.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet.
I like it.
All right. Well, on that note, why don't we just send it to the rest of the interview with my boy Danny Evans.
Oh, best friends.
All right, so we jump now into a little bit into current day at Ethika and what you guys have going on, and maybe give a better explanation of who you guys are, what you represent. I know you guys love to get involved in the action sports, started as underwear like we've talked about, but as you're mentioning, growing in other areas, more clothing, more apparel, things like that. But maybe just give the people an explanation of who you guys are. You've been there since damn near the beginning. So if there's anyone to kind of help with that answer and an explanation, I think it would be cool to kind of explain firsthand who you guys are as a company.
Yeah, so I mean, we're a brand that just we want to be able to like provide people with personal identity. We don't want to pigeonhole ourselves with one product necessarily. The underwear is great. It's something that we're really good at making a great product. It's gotten to us where we're at now, and we still have so much runway to go with the underwear. So that will continue to kind of be the focus. We're not trying to abandon something or shift the focus of something that's really working well for us right now. With that said, the name and the logo and the history and the athletes and artists that are involved in it, like it's just such a cool brand. Like it can really transcend into whatever we want it to. So we've moved into developing other products and testing them, from t-shirts to socks and hoodies and hats and all that stuff. And it's not necessarily because we want to increase revenue and have it make up diversify our product catalog. It's really because we've listened to like, well, what do people want from us? Like they like this brand and they want to wear more products. So we have a great e-commerce platform that allows us to make really whatever we want and test it out and get a feel for what really works and what could end up being a potential new lane for us to go down in the future. So that's been kind of fun. I mentioned that with the finishing of our music studio, we've started our own kind of music label, which potentially has we can't even really define like where the ceiling could be on that. With what we've been doing in music and what the future holds, there's no telling. So that's actually something that's so in its infant stages, but is just incredibly exciting. For sure.
So the studio you guys built that with the intention of starting like a legit label, not just as something fun and
where you went on your lunch hour
things off, but yeah.
No, we actually we didn't intend on starting a label when we wanted to build it. We built it because we have A-list music artists that come down to our office and are part of our family of ambassadors anyway. So it kind of just went into the same mindset of the rest of the building, where we should build this because these guys will want to use it. And
takes care, yeah.
If we can have the Meek Mills and the 2 Chainz and Machine Gun Kellys and these guys down here with this facility, then it's just an awesome way to get them in the building. And then as it was being built, more and more discussion just kind of started to happen. And it was like, hey, I think there's, some white space here for us to kind of find some upcoming artists, some new artists, maybe some talent that's been overlooked. And now that we have this facility, which is normally a huge thing with breaking new artists, is the amount of capital that it takes to give them studio time.
Back them.
And stuff like that. So it kind of was just something that the discussions were happening simultaneously as the studio was being built, and it really just made sense. So that's kind of what we've been focused on since
that's cool. Yeah.
You talked a little bit about some of the artists and stuff that you've worked with, right?
Yeah.
You've dropped a couple of big names. Who's your guy?
Dude.
Who's your dude? Like, who's your dude? You're like, that's my guy. Call him. I can hang out with him. Like, who is it?
So my guy for me is Machine Gun Kelly. There's 3 guys. I'll kind of go on an MGK tangent here in a second, but and actually we'll throw 4 guys in there because we've never really been able to do anything official with him because he's so big. But really, Meek Mill and Machine Gun Kelly were the first 2 people we worked with, and then if you throw in Justin Bieber and Kid Ink into that mix, those were kind of the first 4 artists that started to give us some eyeballs in the music world. Well, actually, now that I say that, Little John actually also wore the product back in like 2009 and 10. And
wow.
So there were some really like organic roots, but Meek and Machine Gun Kelly were kind of the first 2 hip hop artists that we met, and we met them both in like 2011, very, very early on in their careers. We met Kid Ink very early on in his career. And it's been really fun. I mean, the Machine Gun Kelly thing for me, like we became great friends. He really looked up to Ryan Sheckler back when we met him. He was really familiar with the X Games and skateboarding and all that. So the success that Ryan has had was awesome. And I think Ryan kind of became a little bit of a mentor for Machine Gun Kelly in the early years of how to start to deal with, success and stuff that was coming Machine Gun Kelly's way. So that was really cool. And then just to watch kind of his journey, I feel like, I've grown as a person, Ethika's grown as a brand, and he's obviously grown as not just a music artist, but an actor and just an overall entertainer. Yeah. So it's kind of been a parallel growth from people that, he was sleeping on a couch in Cleveland and trying, rapping out of a basement, and we were trying to start a company out of a garage. But that relationship, and to be honest, most of the relationships we have with these artists and athletes, it goes so much deeper than what they do for a profession and what we do and what we make. Like there's a lot of genuine, just friendship stuff there. Like it's about business maybe 10% of the time, and the rest of the time is just being able to have kind of a fun group of friends.
Yeah. It seems like
So
you guys
when
got
you
a great group.
When you guys found those guys, was it by happenstance, or did you guys just or did you seek them out?
No, man, it was kind of it was definitely just kind of happened. Like what was crazy is we had some Malcolm, our founder, he was really close with the Young and Reckless guys at the time, like Drama and those dudes. There was a guy named Kevin Delaney who worked for Young and Reckless that we were good friends with, and so Meek and Machine Gun Kelly had Young and Reckless deals, and I think that's how they ended up giving them some Ethika stuff. Like they gave them the first products, and Meek was obviously familiar with us because he's really into dirt bikes, so he knew about what we were because of our influence in motocross, and Machine Gun Kelly kind of knew who we were, or was into it because of Ryan and kind of the skateboarding influence that we had, and then we ended up meeting Machine Gun Kelly for the first time in Dre's nightclub in Hollywood. That used to be kind of our old stomping grounds when we were in our young 20s. And our friend Tall ran that place, and Tall brought in Machine Gun Kelly and put him at the table right next to myself and Ryan. And then after that night, it was kind of game on from there.
With a name like Tall.
Because
What's that?
I was going to say, I asked because sometimes those are the best relationships and the best outcomes, and you don't have that expectation searching for something, and then you get let down. So I was just curious on those guys.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. It's all just happened organically. Everything that we've done has really happened organically, and I say that because we've never had the capital to not do it that way. Like I've never had the luxury or the opportunity to have a check to say, hey, we're going to get into, the NBA. Like, let's go out and sign some basketball players, and who do we want to be part of it? And it's just, it's always come because, Lou Williams, who plays for the Clippers, he's really tight with Meek Mill and the Dream Chasers. So Meek is like, yo, Lou, Lou wants some product. Can you send Lou some stuff? And
domino effect.
Yeah, Clay Thompson is really tight with Ryan Sheckler, and he grew up in South Orange County, and he comes over and hangs out with us. So, yeah, it's always been like hey, this is like a friend of a friend, and that's how the introduction starts. So
that's sick.
Yeah. Always networking and trying to expand. You guys also, not just men's, but you expanded the brand by women's in 2015 or something as well, right? Men's, women's, youth, you guys are available for everyone, correct?
Yeah, the women's stuff has been awesome. That's actually a pretty deep product line. There's so many different products, different cuts and styles of underwear for the women. And then the youth stuff has just been really exciting. Like, man, especially out here in California, like if you're in that middle school age group, like if you're not wearing Ethika, like you're just kind of not part of the cool kid crowd.
Yeah. It's true. It's so true.
And that's been really, really beneficial for us to get the brand into kids, at such a young age and exposed to them. So
yeah, cool. That is awesome. Well, shoot,
especially dads too. Like dads with young kids, like the young kids want to match the dad. So we're getting photos of like, I mean, dude, I've had crazy parents tell me like it's like, yeah, even with my toddlers and stuff, like it's a potty training technique because they want to wear their boy underwear to match the dad. Like just crazy stories that have been fun to hear.
Well, I got to ask, as a marketing guy, if you were three guys that wanted to, start a podcast and, maybe get your name out there, I don't know, just asking for a friend here. What kind of, if there are people interested in that field, in the marketing area, what you do, what can, is there any tools you can share that's kind of led you to where you are? I know you touched on experiences and, things like that. But if you want to maybe elaborate, especially in 2020 when things are just constantly changing and keeping up with the times and social media and all that stuff, if you want to maybe just elaborate a little bit on that too.
I've just always been a big believer in you just got to get out and start doing something. And success most of the times doesn't come quick, man. Like, dude, Ethika is still a new brand to a lot of people, and this is year 11 since we launched. So it takes time for good things to happen. But I think the only mistake that people make, the only bad thing you can do is to do nothing and keep thinking about your goals, your dreams, or what you want to start. Like, as long as you're doing something, it's going to be a learning experience, and it may fail, but a failure can be a success on the next thing, and it'll teach you something. I think as long as you guys are keeping the wheels moving and just doing something every single day. Like before I met Malcolm, after I graduated high school, it was like, hey, I just want to do one thing productive every day, whether that's send an email to an executive at Red Bull or whatever it is. Like, I looked at that and it's like, is this guy going to read the email? Maybe not, but at least he's going to see my name in his brain pop up in his inbox. And like that was productive. And that's an incredibly small, easy thing.
And I think you did it too, make you feel a little better.
People get too caught up in the ultimate goal, and then they get, when you look at the ultimate goal of where you want to be, like sometimes it can be overwhelming on like what it's going to take to get there. If you break down the goals and work backwards to them, on a monthly, weekly, and day-to-day basis, you can look back then over the course of a year and actually see so much progress. And that's where I think a lot of people just don't do it. They don't want to put the work in. They're lazy, especially kids nowadays. Like, I'm not a huge fan of like the workforce coming out of college. It's tough to find people that operate with a big picture mindset. Everything is like, what are you going to pay me today? Like, what's in it for me right now?
Instant satisfaction.
Yeah. That's good. That's good advice for people. That's good advice for people to hear, to like put in that work. Yeah, I really like that too. That's a good way to go. Look at stuff, to just go out and do something, get something done.
Yeah, I mean, Dan, you guys operate on a much younger base with the professional athletes, obviously. But
right.
For me, I based every decision in my 20s off of trying to figure out where I want to be when I'm 35. And work towards that. So.
Yeah, it helps a lot when you're passionate about it too, and that seems to be the key as well. So.
Oh, dude, 100%. Like, I don't. It's definitely. It's so much easier to go to work when you can work with your friends.
When it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, that's awesome. Well, shoot, when you're not working, what you sipping on back there? We got a little Jack Daniels. Are you a whiskey guy?
Oh yeah, that's Friday. That's the Friday happy hour selection.
Yeah. Wow.
It's happy hour, right? It's Friday. It's happy hour, right?
It's 5 o'clock. Sure.
No, man. It's some of the people that come through here. It's
always Friday.
It's pretty interesting with the hip hop crowd too. Like over by the studio, the entire one wing of the building has interesting odors coming from it.
Yeah. Who let the skunk loose, huh?
Yeah.
Damn it. Well, shoot, can you spill the beans? Like, do you have a particular like bottle, or like if someone's coming, do you have like something waiting for them, or do like people, like if they come record, do they put in strange requests or anything like that?
We have a lot of Douce and a lot of 1942. Those are the kind of the go-tos.
Yeah.
I'll be 1942 any day. Yep. Any day of the week. That sounds good to me.
That is awesome. G, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to ask a couple of things. The first one was Machine Gun Kelly, and he was in the dirt, and that movie is phenomenal. And I was just curious, any kind of stories he may have shared with you on filming and how much fun that film was for him to do. Because it looked like, dude, I was watching it. It looked legit.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, Danny or Seth or anyone else,
you've been trying for a long time. I have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. There's definitely some stories, man. Like I actually went out. So the movie was actually filmed in New Orleans, and they made right outside of New Orleans. They made an entire strip look like the Sunset Strip, and it was actually set out there. So we went out there, me and my friend Dingo, and spent a couple days kind of on the set, just hanging out. And it was cool, man. Like the director, that Jeff Tremaine, he's done all the Jackass stuff, Nitro Circus stuff. He definitely encouraged the guys to get in character as much as possible.
I felt it.
Yeah, so there was this, dude, across the street from where the guys were staying, there was this shithole dive bar that became known as The Office. I can't remember if it was actually called The Office or people just started calling it that. But dude, the bar was open until 7 a.m. So it was just like every night, like we would just be in this place, and they had the beer called Purple Haze out there, and like I just remember drinking so many Purple Haze until 7 a.m. Like the bar would actually expand to like 2:30, 3 a.m. when all the other places were closed. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely a wild filming experience for him. I think you know, it was a great crew involved in that, from Jeff and him and Pete Davidson became really good friends on that set. But I think that as far as acting goes, that was you know, he had been in 5, 6, 7 movies, something like that before that. But that was his first lead. So I think it was after that movie that people are like, oh wow, like dude can actually act, you know.
It was a sick movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a sick movie.
Damn.
I was just curious. Oh, the other part, sorry. Going back to the whole Ethika thing, the logo, it's a very interesting logo. And you said when you signed up to or sent in for the gig, all it was a website and a logo. Has it always been the same? And is that something that's, you know, the staple and always going to be the same?
Oh, we made one small change to it. I think the change was made in 2013. The circle icon has always been the same, but the text Ethika, it actually used to be slanted very slightly. That's the only small change we made. So we straightened it out. We have a different logo for Ethika Music. So if there's other, you know, subsidiary type businesses that we branch off into, they'll probably kind of have their own logos. But yeah, for as far as the apparel stuff goes, there's definitely no plans to alter. We feel it's super, super strong and cool and can kind of be applied.
It's a sweet logo.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, where can your product be found? I think you said Ethika.com, retail, you said Zoomies, Tilly's, things like that. Online, obviously, you guys probably create a lot of attraction, but where can people find these pairs of chonies?
Yeah, Ethika.com is probably the best way to just really see the wide product range we have, from men's, women's, youth, toddlers, and the tees and socks and all that. So you can get lost shopping on Ethika.com.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't got shit to do today, so maybe underwear shopping is gonna have to be my new Friday. We'll see.
There you go.
That's your happy hour.
Cool.
But hey, man, thank you so much for taking your time,
joining
us. This was awesome. Blast getting to know you and sharing this connection that Danny and you guys had.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
By the way, were you guys with each other earlier? You called me.
Yeah, we were at the gym.
Yeah,
okay, nice. That's awesome. Sweet. Well, thanks again, Danny.
Danny doesn't really work out. He kind of just walks around, talks shit on his phone, but
yeah. Hey, someone's got to do it. That sounds like my kind of workout. Oh, that's awesome. Well, sweet. Vice President of Marketing at Ethika and Ethika's very first employee, Danny Evans. Thanks for joining us, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys. Good luck with the podcast.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate it.
I'll see you on Monday.
Okay. See you guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Bam. There's the end of the interview there with VP of Marketing and my best friend at Ethika, Danny Evans. Just a remarkable conversation of getting to hear the perseverance of him and kind of to hear it come full circle. They're nowhere near done as we get to hear the new ventures they're on. And Danny, I know, like, gee, you just joked about he's a walking billboard. You have head to toe something of theirs on right now. But just in general, continuing to expand. But it started, out of a garage in Irvine, California, with just a couple, 5 solid colors, I think they are. And now if you Google Ethika, I don't even know the type of designs that you're going to see that come up. It's incredible. It's so cool to see. It's a tip of cap to Malcolm and Danny and finding that connection to make it work. And obviously hiring the right people along the way, working out with the right people along the way, getting a chance to, hop on a pretty cool podcast and hopefully some people can listen and understand and really, like, gee, you were kind of touching on our they all kind of have something in common, and it's like something to root for, like there's just something there that kind of like gravitates you towards, they are human. They did strive for, he had a goal in mind. He went out, he did it, and he's not done yet. And like, he's not settling, and it's pretty cool to see that. So that's enough from me. I'll let you guys go ahead and talk as well.
Well, I was going to say you don't have to be an underdog to have a cool, successful story in sports, business, or life, you know? And you just have to have that work ethic and that, you know, that mentality, that Mamba mentality that a lot of our guests have. And, you know, very goal oriented. And it just happens that, you know, there's a common theme. That's all. But to your point, though, I mean, it was cool to hear a story that's, you know, it's not an athlete, but it's a behind the scenes of a product that athletes support. It's cool to hear like the style of community that they make their environment, their work environment. It's a cool, fun, you know, a place that people want to be, want to go. And I, you know, hear about them building their music studio to bring in not an athlete, but, you know, an artist of a different kind. It's just cool that they're building their brand around who they want to be and be with, as opposed to, you know, having a product and forcing it onto somebody to be something else. You know, it was just cool to hear that. And sorry, last point that I was going to say for later, but he brought up, you know, you asked, I think Danny may have asked it, but what can you, or maybe you, Seth, what can you pass along to people that, you know, are trying to do something, you know, and move forward? And how he said, you know, do things for you and don't worry about everybody else, and the success will come. And I took that as like, you know, it was just cool to hear from a successful person. And what are we doing here? You know, we're doing this podcast for us. We're climbing and trying to get this out there, but this is for us and to put out a story. And you know, our numbers aren't Joe Rogan status, but, you know, we're having fun and that's all that matters. And, you know,
for sure.
It was, I instantly thought of our podcast. And I think that we're on a good path and we're doing what we need to do.
Yeah. I mean, what I liked about what Danny and about the whole Ethika brand is that, they stay true to themselves. They haven't deviated from who they are and what they're trying to represent. And, you know, it's hard to. They haven't sold out. They haven't changed their logo. They haven't done anything like to catch on and be trendy or anything. So I appreciate that. They are who they are, and they're going to stick with it and write it out.
Bam. There it is. Episode 16 in the books. A reminder, join us next week, Tuesday, episode 17 of the CBS podcast. But that does it.
Thank you,
Seth
best
Smith.
friend.
Yeah, Danny, you're the man. Holy cow. Shout out him. That was so freaking cool. Danny, you delivered it perfectly. Nice job. Nicely done. But that does it. Episode 15. Wait, is that 15? Did I say 15?
Sure.
Episode 15. Whatever the hell we are. Done. Check it out. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube as well. And thank you guys for tuning in wherever you may have. Catch you on the flip side. Peace.